Hello, today we are going to make Flygande Jakob, or Flying Jacob. This is a Swedish sort of take on chicken curry. It's I guess the way to describe it would be, Swedish food has this very eclectic aesthetic about it, but it also has a very unified aesthetic about it. So dairy products feature very, very, very heavily in Swedish food. So here you have a dairy-based curry with influence from Sri Lanka and Thailand, but it's brought together around a number of particularly Swedish ingredients, including bacon. Additionally, the dish is then reused in other ways in other parts of Swedish cuisine. So sometimes you will in fact see curried chicken and banana on pizza. This is very notable as being a chicken curry with heavy cream, bacon, and bananas. I don't think there's anything quite like it anywhere else in the world. And so here we have our ingredients. Most important, we have chicken breast. Now, I got Hähnchen Minuten Schnitzel, which is basically just already pre-sliced chicken breast. It'll save me a little bit of time on the cutting side. Along with this, we have whipping cream or heavy cream. This is 32% fat. This forms the very basis of the curry itself. We have a bacon. In this case, I use Valkholder Bauch, which means juniper belly. This is a juniper cured German bacon, but you know, you can use other things if you're trying to make a kosher, or well, I guess if you're trying to make a kosher version, you wouldn't be able to use the cream either. But if you want to make a halal version, you could use something like a turkey bacon or something like that. To that, we have some curry powder, sweet chili sauce, and peanuts, in this case roasted salted peanuts. And those are basically the ingredients we use. So the first step here is we're just going to do some basic food prep. I'm going to take the chicken. As I say, this is just already pre-sliced, so I only need to kind of cut it like this. You may want to cut it a little bit smaller, especially if you don't have sort of these pre-sliced items for you. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut it again over here. And then this is all going to go into the pot, into a frying pan with a bit of oil, and basically we're just going to saute that. Then I will cut about a third of this into slices, and we will use that. This bacon is good to eat as is. Some other ones you need to do some extra cooking first. If you need to do extra cooking, my recommendation is just throw it in the oven and cook it in the oven. I'll do another video at some point about cooking bacon in the oven, but you can also do it on the stovetop. So here we have our pan. Add just a little bit of oil to the pan. Throw in the chicken. And I'm going to turn this on to about, well, I think in this case I can turn it on to about 7. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and wash my knife and cutting board. Then I'll be back to cut the, prepare the bacon as we go forward. So here we are. One thing it's worth noting is I did forget to mention we do add bananas to this curry. I think I mentioned it, but I didn't show the bananas, so I'm going to add 2 bananas here. But we'll come back to those later. So for the Valkholderbach, I'm going to just take this over like this, and I'm just going to slice this. Now, Valkholderbach is, Germans eat a bunch of, eat pork in some ways that people elsewhere in the world find a little bit strange. This is a kind of a fun bacon with the skin still on, but it's also used as a cold cut, as a lunch meat. So people will just slice this and put it on bread, for example. But you can also fry it and use it for bacon and eggs and all kinds of other stuff. I really like it. And then I'm going to take these and I'm just going to cut them like this. As far as German bacons go, this is sort of my go-to while I'm here in Germany. If you have like sort of the standard form of bacon that you'll find in the US or Sweden, you just take the long strips and just cut them into smaller pieces and then throw them in the oven or cook them on the stovetop until they are cooked. Anyway, there's that. I'll come back later with once the chicken's seared. So here I have the chicken. It's still cooking all the way through. It has been starting to really sear nicely, so I'm going to let that continue to cook for a bit. In the meantime, I'm going to start preheating the oven to 200 Celsius, maybe 450 or so Fahrenheit, and just going to let everything heat up. As soon as this is done, we can we can put things into the casserole dish and add everything else. You can if you want, and I think I am this time going to just take the bacon and I'm going to stir it in. Again, it doesn't have to be a pork bacon, but that works fairly well for various reasons. I'll be back in a little bit after the chicken's all the way cooked. So now the chicken and the bacon are cooked together a bit. The chicken's all the way cooked. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it in this casserole. And this may be a slightly large casserole in this case, but it'll do. Next, I'm going to take peanuts. I'm going to take a nice good handful of peanuts, and I'm going to put this over the top. And bear in mind, both the peanuts and the bacon will add salt. And then I'm going to add cream. Sweet chili sauce. This is the Thai contribution. And basically you can add this to taste, but I'm adding about, about a third of this, about 70 milliliters. And then the last important ingredients, curry powder and banana, which I'll add in 1 second. So here we have, I'm going to add the 2 bananas, or maybe we should just do 1. I don't know. That doesn't look like that much. So I will just do 1. Take your banana, just cut it in pieces, add those pieces on, on top. Sprinkle with a little bit of curry powder. Does not take that much. And then we're going to cover this with foil. And we will put in the oven at 200 Celsius for approximately 20 minutes. There we go. And this goes into the oven, and I'll be back in about 20 minutes. So while we are waiting for this to cook, I'm going to go ahead and go over a couple of notes that I have. This dish was first published in, I think, 1974 in Allt och Mat, which means all about food. It's a Swedish cooking magazine. Some recipes omit chili pepper and they add Italian seasoning, salad seasonings on the chicken. Some recipes sprinkle the bacon on top after cooking. Some other recipes mix these together and serve it effectively as a casserole, similar to what I'm doing this time. But this is, as I say, one of the big Swedish dishes, and there are a few different variations on it. It's also worth noting that I think there is a connection here between Swedish banana pizza, which often has curried chicken on it, and this dish here, which again is a sort of a chili slash chicken dish. And so this, at this point, doesn't look all that appetizing, but it's actually, I promise, really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and stir it around so that the colors kind of blend together a little more. It smells really good. And then this is going to be added onto a plate along with usually some rice, and we'll be eating this main dish. It's also worth noting that I think the original recipe called for Heinz chili sauce. This is one of the few cases where I actually see Swedish cooking using chili in any capacity. So in this case, I went ahead and I used a sweet chili sauce. You can use that, but you don't see a lot of spicy food in Scandinavia, and this is no exception. So here we have the completed dish. I'm going to go ahead and try some. It's really interesting how the salt on the bacon and the peanuts goes very nicely with the sweetness of the banana and pairs with the cream and the chicken. This is actually a really delicious dish. I strongly recommend it.